He felt like the perfect person online, but when I saw him in real life, everything changed in a way I wasn't ready for. My name is Maya. I'm 24 years old, and if you had asked me a few months ago what love feels like, I would have told you it feels safe, honest, and real. But now, I would say it feels confusing, uncertain, and sometimes even painful, because the person who made me believe in something beautiful was the same person who showed me how easily it can all fall apart. His name was Daniel, and we met in the most normal way possible, through a simple online interaction that didn't seem important at first, just a reply, a short conversation, something that could have ended in minutes, but it didn't. It continued. It grew, and slowly, he became a part of my everyday life, not in a dramatic way, but in a quiet, consistent way that made it feel real. We started talking every day, sharing small details about our lives, our thoughts, our routines, and before I even noticed it, I started looking forward to his messages. His words had a way of making everything feel lighter, like even my worst days were not that heavy anymore. He was calm, understanding, and always knew what to say, and that made me trust him, maybe more than I should have. He would say things like, "You're different," or "I don't talk like this with anyone else." And those words stayed with me. They made me feel special, like I was not just another person in his life, like I meant something to him. And slowly, without realizing it, I started believing that what we had was real, something more than just online conversations, something that could become something meaningful. We talked late into the night, sometimes about serious things, sometimes about random thoughts, sometimes just sitting in silence but still feeling connected. And those moments became the best part of my day. I would wait for his messages. I would check my phone again and again, and every time I saw his name, I felt happy. I felt chosen. And I didn't question it. I didn't stop myself because it felt right. It felt honest. But there was one thing I ignored, something small but important. I only knew the version of him that existed through a screen. I knew his words, his thoughts, his way of expressing himself, but I didn't know his reality, not completely. And still, I trusted him, because sometimes words can feel more real than actions, especially when you want to believe them. And then one day, he said something that changed everything. He said, "We should meet." And in that moment, I felt a mix of excitement and nervousness, because this was the moment I had imagined so many times, the moment where everything would finally become real, where the connection we built online would turn into something tangible, something I could see and feel. And I said yes, without hesitation, because I believed in him, because I believed in us. The days before we met felt different. I was excited. I was nervous. I kept thinking about how it would be, how he would look at me, how we would talk, how everything would finally make sense. And when the day came, I reached the place early, my heart beating faster than usual, my mind filled with expectations. And then I saw him, standing there. And for a moment, everything felt real. He looked just like his pictures. Nothing felt off visually, but something felt different, something I couldn't explain. We started talking just like we always did, but it didn't feel the same. The comfort I felt through the screen was not there. The connection felt weaker, like something was missing, and I tried to ignore it. I told myself I was just nervous, that it was normal, that things would get better. But as time passed, the difference became more clear. The way he spoke, the way he reacted, the way he looked at his phone again and again, it all felt distant, disconnected, like he was not fully present, like he was not the same person I had been talking to every day. And then something happened that changed everything. His phone lit up, and I saw a name pop up, followed by a message that said, "Where are you? I'm waiting." And I didn't say anything at first. I just looked at him, waiting for him to explain, but he quickly hid his phone, acting like nothing happened, and in that moment, something inside me shifted. I didn't feel confused anymore. I felt aware, aware of the gap between the person I thought I knew and the person sitting in front of me. And for the first time, I realized that maybe everything was not as real as I believed. I asked him casually, "Are you meeting someone else after this?" And he paused for a second before saying, "It's nothing important." But his voice didn't feel honest. His eyes didn't match his words, and that's when I understood. Not completely, but enough to know that something was wrong. And the rest of the meeting felt different, heavier, quieter, like I was sitting with someone I didn't truly know, even though I had spent months talking to him. And when we said goodbye, it didn't feel like the beginning of something. It felt like the end of an illusion. I went home with a heavy heart, replaying everything in my mind, trying to understand where things went wrong. And that night, I read our old messages again, the same words that once made me feel special. But this time, they felt different. They felt incomplete, like they were missing something real. And slowly, everything started to make sense. He was perfect online because online he could control everything: his words, his timing, his presence. But in real life, the truth showed itself. And that truth was not what I expected. It was not what I believed in, and it hurt. Not because he was different, but because I had believed in a version of him that didn't truly exist. And that realization was painful, but also necessary, because it taught me something important, something I will never forget: that real love is not just about words, it's about consistency, presence, honesty. And if those things are missing, then no matter how perfect it feels online, it's not real. And sometimes, the moment you see the truth is the moment you finally start seeing yourself clearly too.